I'm registered dietitian Abby Sharp, and on my new podcast, Bite Back with Abby Sharp, I'll be dismantling the multi-billion-dollar diet industry that keeps us in a cycle of self-loathing and food fear. Join me every Tuesday for expert interviews, engaging conversations, and my signature science and sass to bust myths, correct misinformation, and help you break free from diet culture for good. Listen for free on the Seeker app or wherever you get your podcasts.
This is the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
From 98.1 CHFI Studios in Toronto, Canada.
Hey Toronto, this is Ed Sheeran.
This is Kelly Clarkson.
Hi, this is Bryan Adams.
This is Adele.
This is Madonna.
It's Michael Bublé, and you're listening to the Pooja and Gurdeep Show. It's fun. They're amazing.
A very welcomed voice is back on the show this morning. Yeah, you're not just hearing me. Pooja, you are back after an absence for the better part of 3 weeks, I believe.
Yeah, just on and off. And, I've been off for a couple of days and then I'm back and then I'm off for a few more days. I feel like my voice is back. I had laryngitis. It's still a little hoarse.
I was going to say it's still not regular Pooja guy.
Yeah.
It's like slightly horsey Pooja guy.
Yeah, it's horsey Pooja guy.
It's horsey Pooja guy.
She's fun. Should bring her around. Horsey Pooja guy.
She is great. We have missed you.
Oh, I've missed you.
Hasn't been the same without you. What's been going on? Are the kids okay? Are you okay?
Everybody's okay. The kids are in preschool, so they're getting sick, and they'll get sick. So one will be sick, and then I'll pass it on to the other kid, and then they'll get better, and then they get another sickness. So we've been through 3 different rounds now of antibiotics for the kids.
Oh, my gosh.
And then I got sick in the middle of it, but then I got better, but my voice never returned. So doctor says it's laryngitis. I need voice rest. You tell me how it's possible.
How's the voice rest going?
Yeah. How is it possible to rest your voice with toddlers? Like,
I mean, first off, your kids are getting a crash course in immunity, right?
Yes.
Like being in school at 2. But like I've been texting you because we can't talk on the phone because of your voice rest. I had laryngitis 6 years ago, and I've been trying to tell you like some of the things and how it affected me. I know our cases are a little bit different, but I couldn't speak for 5 weeks, and I was on voice rest. 5 weeks, and I took the voice rest very seriously because I could. I live alone with coffee, and I basically made a note on my iPhone notepad because I'm elevator chat guy, right? So like when I get in the elevator, people are like, hey, Gurdeep, what's going on? I'd pull up the note and I'd hold it up, and it would say, hey, I'm not being rude. I have laryngitis. I'm on voice rest. I can't speak. And they'd all look at me like, oh, okay. And then it's weird. They would start whispering then. And they're like, oh, it's okay. I'm like, you're fine.
Yeah.
My ears are...
Besides, isn't whispering the worst thing you can do when you have laryngitis?
Whispering is the worst thing because you're punching it. You'd be better off singing than whispering is what I learned. But with you...
Nobody wants to hear me sing. For the record.
That too, Tony Braxton. But you have kids and they're 2. Like they're not even at an age where they can understand, Mommy's sick. Mommy needs to rest her voice. Like that must have been nuts for you.
Sia kept saying, Mama's boys. Mama's boys. No girls. Mama's boys. She thinks that I have boys in my throat. Because I keep saying my voice. She's like, your boys. Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. So they don't get it. And you have to be stern with 2-year-olds. It's just the way it is. So
Yeah.
I try my best to have the vocal rest. I'm just happy to be back. I missed you. You've been holding it down, Gurdeep. I just want to thank you because it's hard. It's hard to be well, I don't know. You tell me. It's hard to talk that much.
Well, it's nice I finally get some air in here. No, I'm just kidding. No, shout out Steph, who's actually sick now. Steph has been great stepping up in your absence, playing the role of, you know, in a soap opera when there's a new actor for the character and they're just like, playing the role of Pooja guy will be Steph Canong. It's been Steph for the last few weeks and she's been great and we hope she gets better soon. Look, I just hope you are back now because we've had a couple of false starts where you come back for a day or 2 and then we lose you again. I hope that you are in the clear and that you are back for good now.
Horsey Pooja guy.
I love this horsey Pooja guy.
From CHFI Studios,
It's the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
Something happened to me this week, and this is nothing I've ever thought about or considered, but apparently my friend does. And I'm wondering, is this friend alone? Do other people worry about this? The question is it okay to wear outside clothes on the bed?
No.
So I was hanging out with a friend this week, went over to their place and just catching up, shooting the breeze. And they're in a condo, you know, space is tight in a condo. So we're hanging out in their room and I just like plop down onto the bed as we're catching up. And I see this person's energy and body language kind of change. And all of a sudden I'm telling a story and I'm like, they're not listening. Like they're not. And they're kind of just looking me up and down and looking around. And I go, "What? Like, is everything okay?"
What happened?
And the person's like, "I'm so sorry. Do you mind getting off the bed?" I was like, "What?" What? And they're like, you went to work in these clothes. Like, you've been outside, you've walked the dog, you've done all these things in these clothes, and now you're on my bed. I'm like, yeah? Like, you can't wear outside clothes on the bed. I'm like, what? This thought had never stepped into, and I'm the guy who, like, I don't like shoes in the house. I put my shoes at the door, so I was in my socks. But this person's rule is no outside clothes on the bed.
And I agree.
You agree? So you've thought about this.
Okay, so here's the thing with my kids. Sometimes they'll make their bed. Sometimes they don't make their bed. And sometimes they're too lazy to change out of their daily clothes and they just go to sleep. And I'm like, do not sleep in your bed with your regular clothes. And same thing with after school with their uniforms. I make them like shower and change when they get home because
they got to shower when they get home from school.
Well, they should anyways. They're teenagers. Like, let's get serious.
Okay,
shower.
Yeah.
So, and I don't want their uniforms anywhere because they've been at school. They're all over the place, and there's like I don't know. It's
But
dirty.
does that apply to adults too? Like,
well, kind of. It depends if you're taking the TTC or what kind of job you have, right? Like, you shouldn't be in bed unless you're wearing pajamas.
Like, I'm not digging pits. I'm not in construction.
I know,
like,
but
I'm
still.
sitting in a cozy radio booth
They
here.
don't know where your pants have been.
Sometimes, neither do I.
Wow.
Blair, where are you on this? Is it okay to wear? Have you thought about this? Is it okay to wear outside clothes
You know
in the
what?
bed?
I would say it is okay, but I've never actually sat on our bed. We have 400 pillows.
Oh, okay.
So there's no chance I'm getting. I think that might be
Yes,
Karen's
she does
way
it
of
on
saying
purpose.
stay off the bed.
They get off the bed until
so
you change.
you know what? But I would say it's okay for me, but I've never been on it.
Okay, because I asked a buddy about this too, and my buddy was like, this thought's never even crossed my mind.
But do you want someone in your bed with like normal clothes on that they've been outside all day with or wherever they've been?
My bed's clothes off. That's the rule.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm even talking about for me.
Okay.
Me? Anyone's getting in?
I'm saying if somebody just came over and they're like, I'm going to take a nap and they just go in your bed fully clothed.
Nope, it's a pants off, dance off.
What?
Also,
No, you can't make people take off-
what a ridiculous scenario. Someone comes over like, hey, can I take a nap in your bed?
I'm just saying,
what
if
is
that
life?
happened, would you allow outside clothes in your bed?
It's never happened in 15 years.
So then
of me.
your answer is no, because you want them with
No,
clothes
my
off.
answer is this is not a scenario that needs to be addressed. Anyways, you tell us.
5 calls? Decide it all.
Is it okay to wear outside clothes on the bed? You tell us. 5 calls, decide it all.
The Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
From 98.1 CHFI. 5 calls? Decide it all.
5 calls, decide it all. This is because I got into an actual discussion this week about outside clothes on the bed. I was hanging out at my friend's condo. I hopped on the bed. We were catching up. I was just laying out, and the person got super weird. I was like, dude, can't. No outside clothes on the bed.
You're dirty. Take your clothes
Gotta
off.
sit on the. I'm like, how come I can sit on the couch then? Like, isn't it the same
Because
thing?
no one's
And
sleeping on the couch.
I wasn't like under the sheets. I was
Doesn't
like
matter.
on top of the comforter.
You're gross.
We got a few people texting in saying it's okay if you're on top of the comforter.
No.
I'm clean.
Nobody knows where you've been.
All right. Is it okay to wear outside clothes on the bed? 5 calls, decide it all. Donna from Brampton, what do you say?
No, definitely a no.
2 no's.
How come?
Because it's too much bad germs, too much virus outside. There's definitely you cannot come into my bed in
Okay.
your outside clothes. Definitely no. Just
Okay.
like the shoes, you cannot, not even your jacket. You can't even come in my room in your jacket. You gotta stay in the closet.
Right.
The rules are
Yes.
strict at Donna's house. I like it. Donna, thank you for the call.
You're welcome. Bye.
Michelle from Toronto, what do you think? Yes or no? Outside clothes in the house? Or
No.
in the bed?
I have a rule, no.
No.
For at least the last 30 years.
Okay, so this is something you've thought about. I don't know why I've never thought about this, but I guess I'm usually changing before I get into bed, so I'm not, laying
Wait
on...
till you have kids.
Yeah,
You'll
I
change
guess
your
so.
mind.
That's
Yeah.
true. Okay,
Let
Michelle.
me put it to you this way.
Yep.
Hold on. You go to the movies, you're sitting on a seat that like so many people have sat on. You come home, you plop yourself down on your bed in those clothing. Then you lay on the bed later and your head's there and your head's been where your butt's been and everything else and everybody else. And that's why I stopped doing it. That grossed me out.
Okay.
Just thinking about that.
Point taken. Michelle, your vote's been counted.
All right, take care.
Thank you. Linda from Cambridge, outside clothes on the bed, yay or nay?
No, and I'll tell you why. I was raised with this from my mother, and that's over 50 years ago. I couldn't even sit on the corner of her bed with my public clothes on. And that's 50 years ago. My mother was like over 50 years. My mother was so fussy. So I was raised that way, and it's all to do with what you're carrying in, germs and whatever.
Okay, so you got to be in like pajamas or something or indoor clothes.
Yeah, just don't sit on her bed.
Got it. Okay. Lesson
Sit
learned.
on the sofa, chair, you're fine, but not on my bed.
Okay, all right. Linda, thank you for the call. Your vote's been counted.
Yeah. Hi.
All right, Logan from Hamilton. So what do you think? Outside clothes on the bed, yes or no?
I would say no. I'm in construction. I shower frequently because of that.
Okay.
I'm just in a routine where I constantly have a shower when I get home from work. But the days that I don't, I'm definitely not laying in bed with the dirty clothes. It's just something that I guess I've been accustomed to from my parents as well. They've always been hard about that.
Yeah, and I mean, especially if someone in your line of work, you know, I get it. I totally get it. It's funny. It's just not something I've thought about. So let me ask you, where do you draw the line? Like, is it okay to sit on the couch with your outside clothes?
You know what? Yeah, like, so for me, I'm a heavy equipment operator. I actually work for Miller. I work on all the 400 series highways and stuff.
Okay.
So normally when I'm in my machine, I normally have like a onesie I slip on. When I get home, I kind of take the onesie off. I'm in sweatpants, this and that. So yeah, like sitting on the couch, no issues because I'm not dirty. Okay. But if I was dirty, most definitely, I definitely wouldn't be sitting on the couch. But I think also like drawing the line, it depends on what you do for work. I think that's a huge perspective and like aspect of that decision, right?
Totally. That makes sense. I also enjoy wearing a onesie that I don't do any work when I'm wearing it. Logan.
Different onesie.
Different onesie. Logan, thanks for the call, buddy. Your vote's been counted.
Awesome, man. You guys are great. Thanks, man.
Cheryl in North York, what do you think? Outside clothes on the bed, yes or no?
Absolutely not.
Okay, why?
Why? You don't know where you've been sitting. You don't know what's in the air. I mean, you come in to my home, shoes at the door, you go wash your hands, you change your clothes.
Okay.
It's a must.
Strict rules at Cheryl's place. Duly noted. Shoes off, clothes off. Welcome to Cheryl's.
There you go.
Cheryl, your vote's been counted. Thanks for the call.
Thanks. You guys are great.
Wow, appreciate that. I thought this was going to be a little bit closer, but It was 5-0.
People are dirty.
5-0 saying no outdoor clothes on the bed. I just keep thinking about the onesie.
Well, your Care Bear onesie is different than his construction onesie.
He's not doing construction in like a unicorn or Care Bear onesie, right? It's like a work onesie?
Yeah, he's not napping in his
I like my onesie better.
Yeah.
From CHFI Studios,
It's the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
All right, I have been dipping into my kids' candy, and I can't be the only one, but there's a lot of Reese's Pieces in my house right now because we had two kids.
Hold on, the peanut butter cups or the little like Smartie
No,
things?
the cups.
Okay,
The
good.
cups,
Yeah,
yes.
you got to get the cups.
Now, we only had two kids come by our house, so you know how many leftovers I have? I have like...
2 kids?
Yeah, 2 kids, that's it.
What do you live in an adults-only neighborhood?
I don't know. There's some
19-plus neighborhood?
There's some years where we got nobody, so 2 kids was a lot.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Also, can we just quickly talk about, it's not Reese's Pieces anymore. Now it's a Reese's Piece.
That's true.
You get one.
You
and
get
it's
one.
tiny.
It's true.
It's no good.
It's true. But that one, I'm consuming daily. And then there's others, right? Like now we've got the Skittles. We've got all the things. And I can't help myself. Like I keep dipping into it. And I was reading that there's a way to stop this from happening. And it's like really simple.
Is it just let your kids eat their candy?
Just let it be. It's not for you.
Yeah.
Self-control, all those things.
Right.
No, what it involves is eating frozen grapes.
Oh, I already do this.
Yes.
Frozen grapes, man.
Okay, so why did you start eating frozen grapes, by the way?
I like my grapes hard.
I'm
I like
sorry
my grapes
I
hard
asked.
and cold.
I'm sorry I asked. No, really, why did you start doing it?
It was somebody on this show, I forget what we were talking about, but someone texted in and said, Gurdeep, you got to try, put your grapes in the freezer. It'll change your life. And I was like, really? Okay, I'm going to give it a try. And I did it, and I did, that's the only way I can do it now. I put them in like, I put it in like yogurt and fruit and berries and some cinnamon, and it's like a healthy dessert.
Okay, so when you do have it, do you feel like satiated? You feel good?
Yeah, because it's not like a regular grape that you puncture it and then you swallow it. Like you got to like gnawed it a little bit. Like you're chiseling away at it. It takes time, so it satiates you. You eat it more slowly.
Interesting, because they say the cold temperature activate receptors in your mouth, and then that releases dopamine, which is obviously what gives you the pleasure that you would normally get from eating the candy.
Yes, the cold receptors. That's the other reason I was eating it.
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, I didn't know the science. It tasted good in my mouth.
I would start saying that, by the way, because your description of it is, I like to chew on my hard
cold grapes.
Yeah, not as good.
That's okay. So grapes in the freezer. It's not put your candy in the freezer.
No,
because people do that too.
Next time you're going to reach for your kids' candy and you're like, I don't want to do that. Instead, reach in the freezer and grab some frozen grapes.
So what you're saying is I was already doing it right, but you, my friend, were doing it wrong.
The Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
I'm registered dietitian Abby Sharp, and on my new podcast, Bite Back with Abby Sharp, I'll be dismantling the multi-billion-dollar diet industry that keeps us in a cycle of self-loathing and food fear. Join me every Tuesday for expert interviews, engaging conversations, and my signature science and sass to bust myths, correct misinformation, and help you break free from diet culture for good. Listen for free on the Seeker app or wherever you get your podcasts.
This is the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
I think this is one most of us can get on board with, at least seasonally. It's National Hermit Day. The concept of being a hermit is an interesting one. You can be an introvert and be a hermit. You can be an extrovert and be a hermit. And I also think your level of hermitness, I don't know if that's an actual
it is now.
word, but I think it changes as you age, because I think about it and when you're young, like when I was young, you try to sneak out of your house to go to the party.
Mm-hmm.
And now that I'm older, I try to sneak out of the party to
That's
go
right.
home. Like the Irish goodbye is my move. I won't say bye to you. I'll get a text the next day being like, hey man, when'd you leave? I didn't say, I'm like, oh yeah, I was there till the end. I missed you. Meanwhile, I left at like 10 p.m.
Oh, wow. Okay, I would have left like,
That's the
half
latest
hour.
I'll push it. Are you a hermit, Steph?
Like sometimes, like how you're describing. So I like going out, but I like leaving. So
Yes.
it's not like the whole night, right?
You like going out, but you love leaving.
Yes,
Yeah.
maybe that's, and then just sitting at home and just relaxing and being alone.
There
and
is-
it was different. You're right, though, because when I was younger, I wanted to be around the chaos.
Yes.
And now I'm like, no more chaos.
No more chaos. Not the artist, the word. But I think now for me there's nothing better than hitting a weekend, like hitting a Friday and looking at your calendar and there's nothing on the calendar. It's rare.
Never happens.
But hitting a weekend with nothing on you just feel so free on a Friday going, I may do nothing this weekend. Something may present itself and I can consider it, but I am obligated to nothing and nobody. And that is nice.
I don't remember what that's like.
I did that this past weekend, and I think that's the first weekend this year I've done it. And I'm like, why don't I do this more often?
Yeah.
There was a lot of pajama wearing, hanging out indoors.
Yes, doing nothing.
It was great. Blair, are you a hermit at all?
I think I'm a winter hermit. I like to hunker down in the basement
Yes.
and catch up on shows that people have recommended all year. You have to watch this show. And in the summer, I kind of feel guilty about being inside watching TV. So.
There's real guilt when you're missing out on good weather, but if it's
time.
miserable outside, that's the time. And I think most people are like that, right?
I think that's it. So I'm a winter hermit.
Yeah, I do get a bit of the FOMO. There's JOMO and FOMO. There's the joy of missing out, which I think happens in winter.
Right.
And then there's the FOMO, the fear of missing out, which happens in summertime. I do like to socialize once in a while, though, so I feel like I'm a bit of a social hermit. Can that be a thing?
Yes, because I feel kind of the same way. Like I like being social when I choose to be.
The
and
social
for short periods. Of
Yes,
time.
in bursts.
Yeah.
Okay, The Social Hermit. That is the title to my upcoming autobiography.
From CHFI Studios,
It's the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
Yo, you got a problem? Pooja and Gurdeep will solve it. Advice, baby.
It is time for Dear P&G, because we just had a text roll in at 981-981 that I had to share with you. This person said I can share it, but they do want to remain anonymous, which we will respect. Okay, so listen up. Dear P&G, love the show. Having an issue, so thought I'd bring it to you guys. I'm getting married November 15th. That's 2 weeks today. My fiance and I sent out these save the dates ages ago, and formal invitations went out in June. One couple from out of town never RSVP'd, but just texted us this week, in caps, saying, see you at the wedding, November 15th. I'm sorry, the seating arrangements and everything have been done. Technically, we have wiggle room and can add them in, which my fiance says we should do. But on principle, I'm saying no. You didn't RSVP, and now you're texting us 2 weeks out to tell us you're coming? What should we do? That may be the spiciest Dear P&G we've ever had, and it's pressing because this is happening in 2 weeks.
Couple things.
Okay. You sound like me now.
There's a couple things here. So I would totally just add them because I would feel awful not adding them. Yeah, because you invited them in the first place. You don't know if anything happened that they didn't answer beforehand. And if they sent out the invitations in June and they're texting, maybe the couple that's getting married didn't get the mail. And these people
Come on.
It can happen. Mail gets lost.
But they're responding, though, so they obviously received it.
But they just said, see you at the wedding. So maybe they're just like, hey, can't wait, like, see you at the wedding. Maybe they assume that they've received the reply back.
Sounds like you're assuming a lot of things here.
Well, I don't know. I don't know somebody that wouldn't RSVP and then just say, see you at the wedding.
This is the whole point. It's rude.
I know,
if
but-
there was an extenuating circumstance, you'd think there would be some disclaimer. Like, I'm saying absolutely not. Do not add these people to the wedding, because There was nothing. All they said was, see you at the wedding November 15th. Where is the, hey, I'm so sorry. Our RSVP was late. We meant to respond. Things got crazy. If you had just qualified it with a bit of that, I'd be more inclined to say, sure.
But why would they be explaining themselves if they've sent the RSVP? You don't know if they didn't send the RSVP. And they just didn't get
you don't know
RSVP. They maybe didn't get it in the mail. Could have got lost. They might. This is what I'm saying. It seems weird.
That is quite an assumption.
I don't know. I would never just text somebody RSVPing. I'd be like, hey, me and so-and-so will be attending your wedding, like as if you're RSVP. I wouldn't just be like, see you at the wedding, because I would assume they've received it.
You don't double down and just send a see you at the wedding 2 weeks out. That sounds like this is their RSVP. They messed up. If you're going to let them come, you're seating them at the kids' table, or you're putting them like behind the DJ. You're putting them somewhere. You're putting them in the coat closet.
But you're assuming that they didn't RSVP.
That's what this is saying.
I know, but they might not have gotten the mail.
It literally says they didn't RSVP, and we just got a text this week.
They didn't get the invitation.
You can't add layers to the story. We have to go off what this person is sending
I know, but you don't know that. Like when I had my wedding, a couple people responded back.
So why don't you just letting people off the street then?
No, because they weren't invited.
Well,
these people are invited.
According to you, they might have been. They just didn't get their RSVP.
No, I know who I invited.
Blair, what do you think?
Don't let him in. You know what? You know the device they sent the text on? That's a phone. You could actually call and talk to them as opposed to just see at the wedding.
Yeah.
I say no go.
Give a little color and context. It's a very thoughtless way to RSVP.
You have room.
Mind you,
like, are you new to society? You can't text 2
you
weeks
might want to
out.
check what kind of gift they were going to bring, though. If they were going to splash a lot of cash.
I'm saying you're coming if you are getting us a $2,000 gift card.
Oh, now they can come. You can add that stuff in.
You hook me up with $2,000 at HomeSense?
No.
Okay.
Add them.
You know what? You guys decide.
5 calls?
Decide it all.
Someone does an RSVP for a wedding. They text you 2 weeks out and say, see you at the wedding. Do you let them come? Yes or no?
The Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
From 98.1 CHFI.
Okay, so we need your help solving this. We're doing a 5 calls decide it all based on a Dear P&G we got. So essentially, I'm going to sort of summarize this text we got. Someone who's getting married in 2 weeks texted us to say they sent out the RSVPs for their wedding in June. Everybody replied, except for this one couple from out of town, and they just got a text from this couple this week saying, see you in 2 weeks at your wedding. And the woman who texted us does not want to allow them to come because all the seating arrangements have been done, and her fiance is like, don't worry, just let them come, it's okay. And we're asking, what should they do? Should they allow these tardy RSVPers to come to their wedding? Their wedding's in 2 weeks. I say no. Steph says yes. You tell us. 5 calls decide it all. Mitchell in Oshawa.
It's an absolute no-go, complete disrespect.
Yeah, I'm with you, right? Who does that?
It happened at my wedding about a month ago.
No.
And it was the same thing. They didn't come. So
someone like just RSVP'd super last minute to your wedding?
Yep.
Wow. Did they have an explanation or excuse?
Nope.
And so you said sorry? Too late?
Oh, I said sorry, no-go. See you after.
Good for you, Mitchell. You're living proof. I hope this person's listening. Mitchell, thanks, buddy.
Have a good day, guys.
Stacy from Mississauga, what do you think? Do you let these people come to your wedding?
I'm sorry, Gurdeep, but I agree with Steph. You don't know for sure that they did not send it in the mail. I think that you should invite them or include them.
All right. You are a bigger person than me, Stacy. Your vote has been counted. Thank you for the call.
Okay, thanks.
Barbara from work, what do you think? Should these folks be allowed to come to the wedding?
I believe so, yes. I'm in the same boat thinking that they might have RSVP'd. Maybe the RSVP got lost in the mail. And looking from it from a different perspective, when I was getting married a few years back, there's a few people who didn't get back to us, and I actually followed up with them just to make sure that they weren't able to make it in case anything like this happened.
I mean, that's very proactive of you and kind of thoughtless of the people who didn't respond. But again, you are more thoughtful and forgiving than I am. Barbara, your vote's been counted.
Awesome. Perfect. The more the merrier, right?
Potentially.
Yeah, party time.
Thanks, Barbara.
Thank you. Have a great day. We listen to you guys every day. Thanks so much.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much, Barbara.
Thanks. Bye.
Nicole from Orangevale, good morning. What do you think? Should these folks be allowed to come to the wedding?
As a bride-to-be, I would say absolutely not. I would probably text them back going, no, you're not.
You would text back and just be like, no, you're not.
Yeah, I'm pretty sarcastic. I actually probably wouldn't even text back, no, you're not. I would use, like, those gifts and be like, no, you're not.
Like, it's already so stressful getting married. You don't need guests adding to your stress level by texting you 2 weeks before the wedding, being like, we're coming.
Absolutely. And just the fact that, like, it's 2 weeks out, by that point, most halls or most places that you're getting married, you have to finalize numbers. And for you to just think that 2 people can show up, especially with the price of a wedding now, not happening.
Your vote's been counted. Thanks, Nicole.
Thanks. Have a good day.
Good morning. Is that Jim from Scarborough?
It is, sir. Good morning.
Jim from Scarborough, what do you think? Should these folks be allowed to attend the wedding?
They should be.
They should be. Okay, how come?
They were important enough to make it to the list of invitees. And if you don't invite them, come the wedding day, you're going to look out over that group and realize that they weren't there. And it's going to throw a black cloud over your celebrations.
Wow.
You're going to be guilty.
Okay, you've definitely put more thought into this than I have. I'm just like, that's 2 less people, it's 2 less heads. All right, Jim, your vote's been counted.
Gurdeep, my wedding, we had to cut to 180 from the list.
Oof.
So there were a lot of people that did not make the list. So, yeah, we know, my wife and I looked out over the crowd and went, so-and-so is not here, so-and-so. They were important to be on the initial list. But
okay, well, you speak from experience, Jim. Your vote has been counted. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so the lovely woman who texted us this quandary, I hope you are still listening. You remain anonymous. Hopefully this helps you in your decision. The final tally here, and there was some good perspective, especially with Jim there at the end. 3-2 saying be the bigger person, just let them come to the wedding.
It's 2 people, and I know then you're like, but then you're going to do that for everybody. But let me tell you something. You are going to be more upset at the people that don't show up last minute and you still pay for their plate. These people are willing to come and take part in your day.
You can't not show up if you've RSVP'd. That's
yeah, that's
terrible.
the worst.
Can I just tell you that some of these folks, Indian weddings, okay? Indian weddings are like 500 people. So I'm looking at it from the perspective of like, if you drop a couple, for me, I want to thin the herd because Indian weddings, I think like Italian ones, they get very political. You have to invite people that you're like, why? I haven't seen this so-called uncle in like 20 years. Why are they here?
And my wedding wasn't like that. We weren't inviting like friends of the neighbors, of the aunt, of the uncle, of the dog. Right? So when it gets to that makes sense.
If my wedding's 100 people, sure, I want everyone there. If it's 500, I'm willing to shave a few off. Okay, anyways, hopefully this helps you out. 3-2, be the bigger person.
Thanks for listening to the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
Listen to Pooja and Gurdeep live weekday mornings from 5 to 9.
Only on 98.1 CHFI.
Toronto's perfect music mix.
I'm registered dietitian Abby Sharp, and on my new podcast, Bite Back with Abby Sharp, I'll be dismantling the multi-billion-dollar diet industry that keeps us in a cycle of self-loathing and food fear. Join me every Tuesday for expert interviews, engaging conversations, and my signature science and sass to bust myths, correct misinformation, and help you break free from diet culture for good. Listen for free on the Seeker app or wherever you get your podcasts.